Hello students, welcome to this video tutorial on adding with integer tiles. So you're going to learn three different techniques on how to add integers. The first technique is with integer tiles. So as you're watching this video, please have open your Google slide, which should be called Adding with Integer Tiles Student Copy. All right, let's begin. We already know the difference between the positive and negative tiles, and we've worked with the integer tile bin before. All right, so when adding with integer tiles, we must remember to combine tiles. All right, let's look at example 1. We have -4 plus -3. So the first thing we have to do is we have to build the first integer. So the first integer is -4. So I'm going to bring over 4 negative tiles here. And maybe I don't have to put them so high. I'm going to bring over 4 negative tiles. And then you're going to combine the first integer with the second integer. So the second integer is -3. So I'm going to combine the second integer with the first integer. So I'm going to bring over 3 negative tiles. And then we kind of examine our diagram and then we see what we have. So step 2, okay, step 2 is always the answer. So in this case, it's not very exciting. The answer is 7 negative tiles. So I'm going to bring over 7 negative tiles. Now you notice in step 1, I kind of had a little separation between the first integer and the second integer. Actually, I'm going to make it a little more obvious here. But in my answer, I don't want to have any separation because I want to easily count how many integer tiles are there. So I'm going to line up 7 integer tiles all in a row, and we're going to make them fairly close together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the answer in this case is going to be -7. Now this is the easiest example of adding with integer tiles. They're not always going to be this easy and this obvious. Okay? Now you notice I've got the equal sign here because that brings us to the step 2, or the answer. All right, let's go on to example 2. We have +3 plus -2. So we build the first integer, which is +3. So I'm going to bring over 3 positive tiles. And then we combine it with the second integer. The second integer is -2. Okay, so I'm going to bring over 2 negative tiles. But as I'm bringing over this negative tile, you should be realizing something. And then maybe putting it right beside the positive tile is probably not a good idea. So if I place this underneath the first positive tile, do you recognize what we've created? Yes, we've created a zero model. So I'm going to bring over my 2 negative tiles. I'm bringing over 2 negative tiles because the second integer is -2. Okay, so now when I recognize that I've created a zero model, I have to create a loop around them. So let's go to Shape, Shapes, Rounded Rectangle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a nice, neat loop around the first zero model. Going to make it transparent. Going to make it red, and I'm going to make the line thickness 3 point. So I've got one zero model, and then what I can do is I can copy and paste that loop because I have 2 zero models. Okay, so what we want to do is whenever we recognize zero models, we want to take them away. So let's introduce another shape here, the arrow shape. So I'm going to click on the arrow here, and I'm going to draw an arrow, just a small arrow. And I'm going to make the line color red, and I'm going to make the line thickness 3 point. And then I'm just going to rotate it a little bit and then move it into place here. So what this arrow is showing is that I'm going to take those zero models away. And once I take the zero models away, I have to see what remains. What's going to remain after I take away those 2 zero models? One positive tile. So then as I scan over here, I see the equal sign. That leads me to step 2, which is the answer. The answer, when we take away the zero models, is positive 1. Okay? So that was our first example that introduced zero models into our question. All right, let's go on to question 3. Example 3. -1 plus positive 6. All right, so the first integer is -1. So let me bring that over. And then I'm going to combine it with the second integer, which is positive 6. So let's bring over 6 positive tiles. Now remember, we can click on more than one object at a time. We can click on the first tile and then hold the shift key, and then I can click on as many tiles as I need from the integer tile bin. Okay, I've got my 6 positive tiles and my 1 negative tile. So you notice how I place the positive tiles underneath the negative tiles because I recognize right away that I'm going to have one zero model. Okay, let's see if I still have the zero model in my clipboard. I do. So I've got my 1 0 model, and then what I can do is I could come back here and I could copy and paste the arrow and paste, and then I can place that arrow into position there. So I'm going to end up taking away 1 0 model, which is 1 positive tile and 1 negative tile. And then what am I left with? I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive tiles. So as I scan over to the right, I have the equal sign, which leads me into step 2, which is the answer. So I'm going to click on 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So let me move these 3 over. Something happened there. And then I'm going to click on this and this. I'm going to move these over here. Okay. So do I have 5 positive tiles left? Yes, I have 5 positive tiles remaining. That is my answer. So the answer to the problem -1 plus positive 6 is positive 5. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Positive 4. So let's click on 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like I can't click on more than 3 objects at a time here. I don't know why. All right, so I'm going to bring over my 4 positive tiles. And then I'm going to combine it with the second integer, which is -8. Okay, that's a lot of tiles to bring over. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of adjustment and arranging of my tiles so I can have them neatly stacked. Okay, so let me check. I've got 4 positive tiles and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negative tiles. Okay. All right, so when we have a large number of zero models, instead of just circling individual zero models, it is acceptable to create a larger loop for as many zero models as you have. So that's what I'm going to do in this case, because 4 zero models, that's quite a few zero models here. Okay, and then if I go to edit, paste, I think I still have my arrow as my last thing that I copied and pasted. So this arrow is showing that these 4 zero models are going to be taken away. When I take away the 4 zero models, what am I left with? I'm going to be left with 4 negative tiles. So in step 2, the equal sign leads us to our answer. So I'm going to bring over 4 negative tiles. Okay, so the answer to the problem +4 plus -8 is negative 4. All right, let's go on to the last example. Okay, example 5. So I've added something different here. I've got 3 integers that I want you to add together. Positive 2 plus negative 6 plus negative 4. All right, so let's begin with our first integer, which is positive 2. And then I'm going to combine it with the second integer, which is negative 6. Let's got my 1. Okay, now I'm going to combine it with the third integer. The third integer is negative 4. So I'm going to bring over 4 more negative tiles. So I've got a lot of negative tiles, and it looks like I've only created 2 zero models. So you can copy and paste, or if you find it's faster, just to redraw them. I'm going to draw a loop around the 2 zero models here. Okay. And then I think the last thing I copied and pasted was the arrow, so I'm going to copy and paste the arrow there. And I'm going to show that I'm going to take away 2 zero models. So what am I left with? I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negative tiles. I look at the equal sign, that's going to lead me to step 2, which is the answer. And I have to bring over what I have left. So I'm going to bring over 1, 2, 3, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the answer to the problem, positive 2 plus negative 6 plus negative 4 is negative 8. So I hope this helps you as you're going to work on the activity next. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.